What's poppin', fallible investors? AK here, and today we're gonna talk about 3 reasons why your trading account isn't growing like you want it to. But before we get into that, I got a quick announcement. This video will be the first in a series of videos where we'll work on improving your skills as a trader. More than half the battle in the market is against yourself. You can know everything there is about economic theory, technical indicators, balance sheets. You could even have a foolproof automatic system that spits out 10 baggers with 100% accuracy. Okay, there's no such thing as that. But the point is, you could have all that and you still won't get rich unless you master yourself and your psychology. So don't be shy. Let us know in the comments if there's a particular situation you're struggling with as a trader. I promise we read all the comments and we use them to make future videos. So if you want a custom video, make sure to let us know in the comments. Now let's get back to the 3 reasons why your trading account isn't growing. Reason number 1 is because of a lack of a trading plan. Now a while ago, my good friend Sun Tzu wrote a book he called The Art of War. In it he said, "Now the general who wins the battle makes many calculations in his temple before the battle is fought. The general who loses a battle makes but few calculations beforehand. Thus do many calculations lead to victory, and few calculations lead to defeat." The same goes for trading. A successful trader doesn't just jump into a trade. First, he games different scenarios of what could happen with that trade. And then he establishes a plan of how he'd manage that trade if any of those scenarios should come to pass. The goal here isn't to predict the future. That's impossible. Unless you're Miss Cleo, of course. The goal is to prepare for whatever could happen. Planning ahead will keep you from sabotaging yourself in the heat of the moment. You know how stressful it is when your money's on the line. Trying to figure out the market and your next move while those emotions are flaring just doesn't work. That's like trying to learn how to give yourself the Heimlich maneuver when you're already choking. You're much better off defining what you'll do beforehand, so that when those emotions do start taking over, you can turn off your brain and follow your predetermined plan. It's the same idea with meal prep when you're dieting. You don't wait until you're hungry to figure out what you're gonna eat, cause that hunger will take over and make you do crazy stuff with Nutella. Instead, you have all your meals prepped beforehand, so you can just stick to your plan when hunger calls. Your trade plan should be written in stone and followed out exactly while you're in the trade. But once that trade is closed out and done, then you need to go back and reevaluate your plan. You gotta see what worked and what didn't, and what you gotta change for next time. But remember, you do all that evaluation after the trade is over, not during. It's the same reason you wouldn't do an autopsy on a living person, because that would be murder. Now there's a few key elements that you need in your trading plan. The most important are your position sizes and risk points. How much of your account are you willing to risk on this trade? And at what price level will you accept that you're wrong and exit the trade? While your selection and entry criteria will be a part of your trade plan too, your exit rules are way more important. Other areas of your trading plan should include things like when to take profits and when to add to your position. Now obviously there's a lot more to discuss about each part of this trade plan that we just mentioned, and we'll be going into more detail in future videos. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that bell so you get a notification of when they're released. Now as I said, the most important part of your trade plan is your risk management. And that leads us to the second reason your trading account isn't growing like it should: lack of proper risk control. As legendary trader Peter Brandt said, consistently successful trading is founded on successful risk management. Most traders only focus on finding the next big play, because trying to invest in the future Google is a lot more fun than worrying about the worst case scenario. It's only after they blow out their accounts do they start to realize how important risk management really is. So please don't be like those other traders. Use what we're talking about here so you save yourself a lot of time, money, and needless suffering. Now the number one thing I see with new traders is they bet way too much. Instead of risking 2% of their account per trade, they're risking 20% or even more. And the worst is when their first few trades actually go well with this method, because then they make a bunch of quick money and start thinking they're the next Stan Druckenmiller. It goes straight to their head and they start risking even more per trade. What they don't realize is a hot streak is always followed by an inevitable cold streak. And multiple losing trades in a row with position sizes that big just destroys their account. So not only do they end up losing most of their gains, but they lose a lot of what they started with too. It's just a really painful experience for them. For me, it's kind of funny. I mean, it's sad, but kind of funny too, because I told them that was gonna happen. But I know you're smarter than that, because you understand that trading is a marathon, not a sprint. Risk control is everything to survive this game in the long run. And we're talking multiple decades here, not just next year. Capital is really tough to come by. So if you blow all of it on a few trades that are sized too large, you're screwed. Keep your focus on risk control and surviving first. That's how you're gonna make the big money in the long run. Now, the third reason your account isn't growing is because of a lack of understanding of the macro environment. As you know, MacroOps is the parent company of Fallible. So of course, we believe understanding macro puts you miles ahead of the competition. And that's why we made so many videos about the Fed, which by the way, you should check out if you haven't already. If you don't understand macro, then you're blind to the real forces moving the markets and the economy. And when the market crash eventually comes, you're not going to be prepared for it. Now, sadly, I can't teach you everything you need to know about macro in this little video. As you can imagine, it's very complex and it takes a lot of time to learn and understand. I'm still learning more and more about it every day. But don't get discouraged. You don't need to know every single thing about macro to be able to pull money from the markets. Just make sure to keep learning about it by watching this channel and by reading the great stuff that Alex puts out at MacroOps. I'll link out to our website in the comments. Now, I hope you guys like this video. It's a bit different than what we've been doing so far. Let me know in the comments if you want more videos like this. And of course, list out your questions so we know which topics to dive into deeper. And please share this video with your trader friends. We're trying to grow this Fallible community and it helps a lot when you do that. And if you haven't already, remember to subscribe to this channel. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.